Okay, this is a short presentation on a certain slant of light. I'll be talking for 5 minutes on this poem. You can take some notes as we do it. First of all, the poem is in ballad form. Okay, we've got 4-line quatrains, and we've got full rhyme, 4 alternate lines rhyming, the second and fourth. So while on the surface this poem has a regular kind of rhythm and order to it, very ordered ballad form, an ordered full rhyme scheme all the way through, it also has a sense of disorder in it with its use of enjambment, caesura, breaking up the rhythms. So this is another one of those poems that has a sense of order within it and disorder. Why might that be? Is it to do with the subject matter in which this person is trying to explore certain feelings that she knows she has, but she can't quite pin them down as to why she has them or what they are. Okay. Right, so a certain slant of light. Light's connotations are perhaps optimism, faith. She sees the light. But what is the light on winter afternoons? Is it gloomy? She describes it as oppressive, heavy. And we've got lots of words suggesting heaviness, heft, of cathedral tunes. Okay. Now, why cathedral tunes? Is this the first of many, perhaps, references to religion in the poem? Okay. What is it about religion that she might be suggesting has a heaviness to it? Is she weighed down by a sense of faith or a lack of faith? Or not knowing what faith is? In the second verse, she talks about it as heavenly hurt, an oxymoron, or is it a paradox? Could be both. Heavenly is usually something describing something beautiful, but hurt, again, the association of pain and religion or faith are brought together in this particular oxymoron. Again, it's another one of the poems in which certain words are capitalised: hurt, heft, heavenly. Highlighting or drawing out, emphasising certain words that perhaps emphasise certain themes, pain and faith. She goes on to tell us that we can find no scar, there's no external evidence of this pain, this heavenly hurts. It's an internal difference. Okay? Is it psychological? Is it psychological damage that she's feeling? Is this one of those poems in which she's exploring emotional states? Okay. But it's the internal difference where the meanings are. Interestingly, she talks about it as difference. What is this difference? It's ambiguous. We're not quite sure. Is it the conflict of faith where the meanings are? And why is it meanings with an S rather than the meaning? Is this again exploring her complexity of faith, meanings? More than one. One of the ways in which the second verse flows into the third verse with enjambment, again, it kind of disrupts the natural order. Is that because she's not quite sure? So she's sure of something, hence the structured, ordered form of the ballad form, but she's not quite sure. And that's her attempt to get rid of order. So this is a poem in which the structure is both ordered and disordered. And she uses the dashes, enjambment, as a means to disrupt the flow of the poem, disrupt the rhythm of the poem. None may teach it. Again, is this a suggestion that, organised religion isn't for her? Any, 'tis the sealed despair. Again, despair is a mortal sin to Christians. To be without hope, which is what despair is seen as a sin. It goes against religion, and despair is about loss of faith in God's forgiveness. And maybe that might be the thing that she's referring to as quite oppressive. Is her loss of faith, is her despair, is that what's weighing her down? It's an imperial affliction. An affliction is an illness. Okay, but why imperial? Imperial suggests empires, powerful leaders. Is it God? Is imperial suggested? Is it connotations of God again and of the heavens? This mighty affliction that sent sent us of the air. Again, air, is it capitalised? Is it, again, that sense of it's all around? Is it coming from heaven? When it comes, the final verse does have a sense of change, in the sense that it's when it comes, and I think she's referring to when it comes is the landscape. When it comes, is it the slant of light? When this slant of light comes, when it comes, again, she refers to it as it. None may teach it. Heavenly hurt it gives us when it comes. And we're kind of ambiguous. I kind of see it as like it's the slant of, she's back to describing the slant of light. When it comes, the landscape listens. The alliteration of the L sounds are soft. Again, sentence perhaps suggests silence. The landscape listens, very soft sounds. Again, is it emphasising the silence? Personification, nature, is something that comes up in quite a few of her poems, you might remember. Shadows hold their breath. Again, the personification of shadows. But we're getting that sense of silence, right, in this final verse. And is this silence brought on by the light? But when it goes, again, when the light goes, because it's only a certain slant of light, suggesting a small slice. Okay, people often talk about life as being just a sliver of light between two immense darknesses. So a slant of light suggests it's just narrow, fleeting, passes, it's temporary. Is that light the faith that she describes? But when it goes, tis like the distance on the look of death. So she ends with quite a powerful summary about the loss of light. Is it about the loss of faith, perhaps? And is the simile of like, it's like the distance on the look of death. Again, that idea is quite a powerful suggestion. It's not about death, but she's describing a psychological state as being like death, like many of her other poems. Okay, so we've got this poem, order, a sense of disorder. Why do we end on a dash again? 'Tis like the face of darkness on distance on the look of death. Again, she leaves us with a hanging kind of dash, thinking, well, what is it we're supposed to be thinking about? Are we still continuing the thought? Is there a degree of uncertainty continued at the end of this poem? So this poem has got lots of perhaps connotative references to religion, but lots of references to pain and heaviness as well. Does faith bring with it its own heaviness? But the last verse seems to suggest this loss of light, when the light does go, it's even worse. It's like distance of death, distance on the look of death. Again, a sense of loneliness or isolation on the face of death. That is about all I could say about this poem. Thank you.